Hola, clase. Today we are going to finish our review of conjugating present tense verbs by doing conjugation of present tense IR verbs. So we took care of AR verbs first, then ER verbs, and last but not least are our IR verbs. So here are some present tense IR verbs. These are IR verbs because the infinitive ends with an IR. So we have escribir, decir, salir, vivir, recibir, abrir, and compartir. Those are just a few. So some of those verbs conjugate regularly, which is what we are going to focus on, and a few of them have irregular conjugations, which you'll learn how to do when you move on to Spanish too. So, like I said, we are going to focus on reviewing how to conjugate regular present tense IR verbs in Spanish. So, every verb in Spanish starts out as an infinitive or an infinitivo, and there are parts to those infinitives, partes del infinitivos. So, here is an infinitive. I know it's an infinitive because it still shows me the ending of the verb, which helps me know it's an IR verb. This verb is escribir. Escribir means to write. Escribir can be broken down into two parts. It can be broken into its stem, which is escrib, and then its ending, which is ir. And like I said, that lets us know it's an IR verb. And remember, we need to know if verbs are AR, ER, or IR so we know how to conjugate them. So how do you conjugate a verb in the present tense? Well, when you conjugate a verb in the present tense, you drop the ending. So you're going to drop the AR, the ER, or the IR, and you're going to add a different ending depending on whether that verb is an AR, ER, or IR verb. That's why we need to know our infinitivos and how they end. The new ending you choose also depends on the subject of the sentence. We've talked about this several times. There are 6 subject pronouns, los pronombres sujetos, and those are used as well in helping determine how do you conjugate a verb in Spanish. So here are the pronombres sujetos. Yo is I, tú is you, informally, él is he, ella is she, usted is you, formally, nosotros is we, vosotros, which we know we only use in Spain, so we don't really spend a lot of time on that. Ellos is they. It can be all males or males and females. Ellas is they, but only females. And then ustedes is you, like plural, all, you all, and formally. So let's listen to a song that is an oldie but a goodie. Pretty sure you heard it yesterday. So when we watched the video this time, hopefully you reviewed the ER conjugations, but you focused in on the IR ones. And where we see differences are in the nosotros conjugation between an ER and an IR verb. Also in vosotros, but we don't spend a lot of time with that. So for yo, tú, él, ello, usted, ellos, ellas, ustedes, the conjugations for an ER and an IR verb are actually the same. Where we see differences are in nosotros and then vosotros. So let's take the verb vivir, which means to live. And so if I wanted to say I live, it would be yo vivo. If I want to say you live, it would be tú vives. If I want to say él, ella, usted lives, it would be vive. If I want to say we live, it'd be vivimos. See, we have an I here, where if this were an ER verb, it would be an E. Vosotros is vivís. And like I said, we don't really use that. And then ellos, ellas, ustedes is viven. So o, es, e, imos, en for IR verbs. Remember, this one's going to be an I, but everything else, the other four that we use, will be the same as an ER verb conjugation. So, steps for conjugating a verb in the present tense. Determine the subject of your sentence and match it up to a subject pronoun. So, the subject of our sentence this time again is Juan. So, Juan would match up to the subject pronoun of el. So, we've got that done. Step 2, choose the new ending that matches up with the type of verb you have. We know we have an IR verb. The subject pronoun is el. So, for an IR verb, an L, we would choose to change the ending to just an E. So we're going to drop the ending for the verb. So we keep the stem, drop that IR ending, and we get vive plus the E is vive. So now our sentence would say, instead of Juan blank vivir in Madrid, it would be Juan vive in Madrid. In 3 easy steps, you will be conjugating present tense AR, ER, and now IR verbs like a pro. Always remember to double check the type of verb you have, since the endings are different for AR, ER, and IR verbs. You are going to do amazing. You've always done amazing with conjugations. Keep working hard, mis estudiantes.